Hey guys, it's Eddie and today I am back with a long-awaited movie review that I cannot believe I'm finally filming for you guys. I've been wanting to review this and see this film since I first heard that it was announced. So I've literally just come back from the cinema, so forgive my appearance and everything like that. But today's review and today's movie that I will be reviewing is It, directed by Andre Muschietti and starring Bill Skarsgard, Jaden Lieberher, Finn Wolfhard, Sophia Lillis, Jack Dylan Grazer, Wyatt Oleff and Chosen Jacobs. Now, It, if you don't already know the story, is based on a very famous Stephen King book, which is brilliant. And basically it takes place in the town of Derry, where kids start disappearing, and they have done for many years. And Derry has a history of kids disappearing, in fact, and a band of children now in the 1980s are haunted by a dark entity that comes to them in many forms, but the most consistent form that he appears in is Pennywise the dancing clown. And eventually these kids must come together and face their fears and defeat this evil entity. Now, that's just a very, very brief view of the story, but let's get straight into the analysis. There won't be any spoilers, I promise, so don't worry if you haven't seen the film yet. I'm not going to give anything crucial away. But my first thought when I saw this film was just how funny it was. Something that is really brilliant about Stephen King's novels, if you guys aren't a fan of his works, I am, but something that I found was brilliant in this film was that it had this perverted and this really twisted humour that was really true to the novel. And of course, I've always felt that humour and fear or horror go hand in hand. So there was this perfect blend in the film of, you know, being really frightened one moment, but also giving a nervous giggle because there was something so weird and twisted and crazy happening on screen. So I thought that that was a really good form of relief in the film for the audience, because there was a lot of scary parts, but also it kind of really seemed like this was straight from a Stephen King novel, because it had that same element of really weird and twisted humour that he often provides in his novels. Something that I also found that was, you know, reminiscent of the book was the characters. I thought that the young actors in their roles were absolutely fantastic, and they played these very well crafted characters created and sort of provided to us in the novel by King really, really well. And I was instantly attached to them, and I will miss them dearly in the second instalment that we all know is happening, that will follow the characters in this film as adults later on. And so I will really miss them when it comes to that second instalment, because they were just so perfect. They had fantastic chemistry, you know, they were very relatable characters, they were very funny as a group. I thought that they had very witty, you know, one-liners, especially in the case of Finn Wolfhard. I think that he really stood out for me as Richie, and as well, Jaden Lieberher as Bill were the standouts for me. I thought that, you know, Bill, played by Jaden, he was very sensitive, you know, he was, you know, he brought out that very raw emotion in you because of the situation with his brother, Georgie, and you just felt incredibly sorry for him. But then you had Finn as Richie. We all know Finn from Stranger Things, or I hope you do, because it was a great series, but he provided some really, really much needed humour in this film, and he was just consistently brilliant. And I really enjoyed all of those performances by the young cast, but they were the two that really stood out for me personally. So yeah, I thought the young cast was really special, and I will miss them in the second instalment, but I hope that their adult counterparts can really remind us of their characters, you know, now that we've seen them when they were young. So yeah. I also thought that the direction of this film by Machete was brilliant. I hope I am pronouncing his name correctly. I'm probably not, but you know. It was beautifully shot and directed. The sort of overhanging, sweeping shots of Derry before, you know, we were sort of plunged into, you know, a jump scare or, you know, situations with the kids was gorgeous. It was really enjoyable to watch visually, not just for, you know, the crazy things that were happening in it, but it was very visually pleasing, and I always appreciate that in a film, so it had that benefit going for it. I did get somewhat tired of the jump scares because they were not constant, but they were, you know, they were a lot, but that was what I expected, admittedly, when I walked into this film. You know, it's marketed as that kind of film, but overall the ones that they did provide, the jump scares that they did give you, were awesome, and I thought they were actually extremely inventive, and almost jaw-dropping at times, because they took you in directions that you didn't expect, because you just thought, oh, something's going to jump out at me, and it did, but in a really different way, and it would, you know, Pennywise would go on to do something that you wouldn't expect, and I think that's just testament to the material behind this film, and also just like you know, what a great film it was, because you weren't bored in any way, shape or form. I wasn't personally. You might think differently if you've seen the film, but that was my opinion. I think, yes, it was reliant on jump scares, and that got a little bit tiresome at times, and I was kind of like, breathe a sigh of relief when the film had finished, but I think that was just the tension it provided. Could it have been a little bit more inventive with other forms of scares? Possibly, but as I said, the jump scares that they did provide were really different and inventive, so it wasn't that much of a problem. I thought the visual effects, the special effects and the CGI was tastefully placed within the film. It provided some great and very, very grotesque horror in the form of Pennywise's evil tricks. I don't think it was too much. I think for something as weird as it and Pennywise, it was needed, and it was something that we didn't get with the original, but it was beautifully sort of encrypted into this version, and I thought that it worked really well. It didn't take any of the sort of illusion out of the film. It was really good, because there were long moments of there being no CGI, you know, just with the kids and their acting, so it didn't feel like too much, and I think a lot of films these days, it can feel like too much, so I thought it did really well on that front as well. Now we come to the standout for me, and that is Bill Skarsgård. He's Sean, a truly faithful portrayal of Stephen King's absolutely terrifying creation, and he's the main reason, I think, why I'm coming back for chapter 2. His voice, his mannerisms, everything was just twisted and frightening. You didn't know what he was going to do next, and you know, his horrible sort of haunting giggle was just absolutely brilliant. I think that Stephen King should be extremely pleased with this performance. I've heard that he's had 2 viewings of the film apparently, and he loved it, but I think that Pennywise, the performance is what I was waiting for, and I really wasn't disappointed. He didn't really copy Tim Curry in any way. He made the portrayal completely his own. Tim Curry's portrayal is absolutely brilliant. I'm not sure which one I'd pick, but I was very, very bowled over by Bill Skarsgård as Pennywise the clown. I think, if anything, him as Pennywise and the young cast should be the reasons why you see this film, because the acting is stunning. I think that's at the very core of this film, and honestly, I wish I could have seen more of Bill Skarsgård as Pennywise. It wasn't really enough for me, and I guess, you know, you have to be tantalised in these kind of films, but the acting was so stunning that I just wanted to see more and more of him, and I know that wasn't possible because there is a certain element of surprise that is needed, but I just thought that Bill Skarsgård was incredible. I have to say that. I think that there was possibly some pacing issues with the film. I think that Obviously we need those moments of relief, and that's fine. Did it feel somewhat rushed in parts? Probably, and there was a lot of, you know, the same things happening at the beginning with the different kids, but I didn't really mind that. Even the issues that I'm stating I didn't really care about, because I think that it was really faithful to the source material. And let's not forget that it is a 1,000 plus page doorstop, so, you know, of a book, so there was a lot to pack in, and I think that what they did do was absolutely brilliant. My favourite part of the film, or favourite segment of the film, was that which happened and occurred in the house, the really grotesque haunted house that is Pennywise's lair. I think when the segment with the 3 boys entering it was my favourite in the film by far, but I won't spoil anything. I'll let you guys enjoy that if you go and see it, and I implore you to do, because I think it was brilliant. So overall, I was impressed with this film. I got what I wanted from it, and it was definitely worth the wait. So if I had to give it a rating, I'd probably give it 4.5 out of 5 stars, because I think it was damn near perfect. As I said, probably some pacing issues from a cinematic point of view, and this jump scares were kind of repetitive on occasion, but I think the acting from the cast really made up for it. So thanks so much for watching this review, guys. I've been so happy to talk about this film at last. Remember, guys, you can always request movies for me to review by commenting below or messaging me on my Tumblr, but that is it for now. Thanks so much for watching this one, and I'll see you in the next. Bye!